Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution Armada Megatron, and I am really excited to review this figure. Obviously, a little late to the game, I'm playing catch-up still, but here is our Leader Legacy Evolutions figure, and it is a new Megatron. I love Megatron. It is Armada Megatron. I have... For not like watching the show when it came out, I have a lot of nostalgia for this Megatron. I remember seeing the H-Tank on shelves. In last year's like Extra Life charity event, I'm pretty sure an Armada Megatron was in the prize, or maybe it was 2 years ago. So it's neat to see an updated version of this toy. It'll be interesting to see if this like lives up to the memory of that Megatron. But starting out strong, we have, you know, the iconic H-Tank with these like pincy grippers up front. I will say these pieces, you can see here, there are two pegs that go into the sides of his head, and they do not love to stay in place. It feels like things just want to slide out naturally due to friction. It's the sort of thing that could be solved with some super glue. It would have been nice to have some sort of articulation in the head. That's not the case here, which is unfortunate. We do have a lot of mimicry of his other gimmicks. We can see here, this was once a place where you could use a Minicon port, slide things around on the original toy. That doesn't work. This used to be a missile launcher. That doesn't work. Unfortunately, that's just molded. He used to have like ramps and cages for Minicons in the back of the tank. Obviously, those have been removed. He does have a swiveling turret, which does move around quite nicely. Not quite 360, but almost like 270 or something. It does also go up and down. It has elevation control, which is nice. We do have this little launcher piece here. On the original toy, this used to be able to come up. You'd twist it and it would come up forward to launch missiles. For whatever reason, that articulation has been removed, which is, again, a little disappointing, but it does come into play a little later. So everything here we can tell is like, it's the same toy, a little smaller, a little svelter, and missing most of the play pattern from the Armada toy, which is a little bit of a bummer. The big play pattern missing is obviously, if you look, we got 5mm ports in plenty of places. We do not have a Minicon port anywhere. If you remember, Minicons, it was a 5mm peg with a hole in it that you could stick in. This is, you know, one of the original Minicons, and it's not going to attach anywhere. That being said, if you have one of the Micromasters that has a conveniently placed handle, you can, in fact, mimic the Minicon action by wrestling with your Micromaster. There we go. So you can do Minicon action like so. Is it the same? No, it doesn't do any play pattern stuff. It's just there. But, you know, if you want to mimic it for display, I'd love if we got a new Leader-1. That would be really, really neat to get, you know, something to port in on the various spots he's got. And obviously, all these ports also work with blast effects, which I feel like I'm kind of over because they affect the paint. But, you know, it looks pretty good. We look beneath, and the robot mode is pretty decently hidden. We've got, obviously, some chest, some head, things like that. But overall, things are, like, masked and hidden, and I appreciate that. As a leader class figure, oh yeah, and he's got casters. They do roll. Really nice. I really like that. Oh, he can zoom just fine. I do want to compare him to my other Leader Megatron, and this is not a 100% fair comparison, but here we go, two tanks. Now this is the Combiner Wars G1 Megatron, which oddly enough does have Minicon ports. So, you know, you can stick Minicons there just fine, and that's because this toy, you know, they used the Minicon ports a little bit in Combiner Wars, and this toy got remolded as an Armada Megatron. I think the robot mode on the Armada Megatron from Combiner Wars didn't do it 100% justice, or really the bot mode, but it's funny that these ports survived so long to be cut from this figure. But yeah, here's how they look, and here's something that, like, I mean, this is still bigger, but this feels like a sizable, chunky leader class figure in alt mode here. This measures up kind of better than I was expecting. And yeah, you know, I think they look pretty good together. Having two menacing tanks like this looks really neat. I dig that a lot. All right, let's get into transformation. So it is pretty simple transformation. I think surprisingly simple. We're going to come up underneath here. We're going to untab these tabs, these slots back here. With those panels loose, we can come down and bring the legs down, nice and simple, then bring that panel down, come in on the feet, pull up the heel, pull up the big toes. They click nicely into place. Same thing on this side. Bring that whole thing down, close the panel, toes up, heels up, like so. We can flip around his torso, get everything right. I do like this bit of transformation. This is unique compared to the original toy. We kind of build out his chest a little bit by bringing those sections down. I appreciate that. We can come in and we can shrink, pull that panel up, and bring his shoulder joint down on each side. Same thing on this side. Bring it down like so. And we'll have to periodically come in and adjust his mandibles, unfortunately. We can come in on the shoulder here, opening up that shoulder path to get that arm out of the way, flipping out our hand like so. Same thing on this side. Open it up on the side. Get that arm out of there with your fingernail or something. There we go. Close it. Bring things out and around. And then the two very last things are going to be, I think let's do this first. We'll bring the cannon out, get the arm out of the way. We can bring the cannon forward. That's obviously like his Armada configuration. And then bring down this panel, flip back the visor, and we've got Megatron in his robot mode. Alright, it is time to announce the winner of Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution Dirge. Real quick before we get to that, I do want to note, if you look up top at the bar, we are still raising money for One Up on Cancer. It's a fundraiser that supports people with the cost of care with cancer diagnoses. We are trying to hit $500. We're more than halfway there. There's a QR code over to the left of the screen. There's a Tiltify link down below. In addition, currently we are raffling off a Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution Leader Class Nova Prime, but if we hit $500 raised, added to that as the prize pool will be Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution, the Stunticon Menasor box set. Every dollar you donate can be an entry into the raffle to win either of those prizes. The Menasor box set only happens if we hit $500, but we're at $259 raised so far, so we're more than halfway there. And let's go ahead and get to our winner. So over on the left are all the entries on the video. We had a lot of, it was just the simple questions, just checking in how everyone's year was. A lot of mixed years. Hopefully people will have a better last couple months on average than they did at the beginning of the year. And we had 32 entries here. So let's see who our winner is. Ran between 1 and 32. Our winner is number 3. Number 3 is El Potato 5011. 5011 also kind of a mixed year. Again, to El Potato 5011 and everyone else, hope the rest of your year ends up being better. That is it. So El Potato, reach out to us on any of our social media. I'm like Sienna Shami, basically everywhere. Reach out to me. And we'll get Dirge boxed up and shipped out to you as soon as possible. Congratulations again. Let's get back to the review. And he looks pretty dang good. This is the big reason you buy the figure. I think the alt mode looks cool, but the alt mode doesn't have the play pattern we're looking for. But here, this looks really, really nice. I'm digging it a lot. I really like his head sculpt. I think it's full of character. It's that, like, Megatron in this is like a tyrant, but he's also somewhat of like an honorable warrior. I think that captures his head sculpt really, really well. The red paint recessed in there Looks very striking. I dig it. Again, these pieces being so loose is annoying. You gotta come in here and like squeeze them back in every now and then. But the head is nicely articulated. He can look down a little bit. He has some waggle. You're gonna waggle off his antlers. But, you know, with some tilt and swivel, he can be looking, you know, some characterful poses. I will say, in terms of articulation, the thing I don't like is the next piece. These shoulders, they're like the Laser Optimus shoulders from Legacy. The actual shoulder is attached here, so it can go out like so. You can kind of get it up a little bit. It can come forward that far. Can't go back at all. And this segment doesn't rotate at all, which is really frustrating. So the way they built this is there is a cylinder joint in here that can, you know, articulate in this direction. But this could have been a universal joint. You have the same cylinder joint here, and then in here, in the tank piece, you put a secondary universal joint or a ball joint to get forward and backward articulation. This thing can't move at all, which is really, really annoying. The arm can get out here, which does not look great. And that's it. Being able to take the whole shoulder pylon and rotate it, you know, back and forward would have been huge on articulation on this figure. As is, it is pretty disappointing. Now, we do get bicep swivel, which I appreciate. We do have a nice deep elbow bend. I think I would have liked some sort of forearm articulation, but with the way this transforms, it's hard to get a cut in there. We do get wrist articulation at least, which I do appreciate. We do, as we saw for transformation, we have waist articulation. We do have some lovely, and I want to mention this, on this elbow joint. This one's better than the other one. It's like micro detented. I don't even know if that's going to capture on camera. Let's try it. We'll be quiet. There's like teeny tiny detents and like little pieces in here that feel really, really good, really buttery smooth, but also solid. I really appreciate that. The hips, going out, these hips are not super solid. You can see that, but going forward, there's a nice detent. Going backwards, if we get things out of the way, it's nicely detented. It's pretty solid in this direction, just not in this one. And this is a pin joint. I don't know that there's a good way for me to tighten that very much. We do have knee joint, again. Oh yeah, love it, love it. Thigh swivels there. We do have ankle tip, and I want to shout out the ankle tip. When you tilt it, it's not just a hinge here. There's plastic in there that makes it look like he's really tilting that ankle. I dig that. That's an extra bit of a design appreciation that I really, really like. That being said, it's the shoulders that kill the articulation for me. The figure looks really nice. I mean, these colors are great. The purple's nice, the silver's nice, the gray's fine, and there's not too much of it, thankfully. The green's awesome, the contrast, the orange is very striking. It all looks really good. It may be a little on the small side, but it looks terrific. He can do, his one Armada gimmick that he can do is if you take the back piece here, you can slide his whole waist joint around like so. So you can pull out his cannon. I think it's called like full cannon mode or something. But he can do this, which is something from the cartoon, which is kind of neat, I guess. Again, if you want him like interacting with the Micromasters, you can, there are still like ports to put like little Micromasters as mini-cons on them. So that's all really neat, but there's not like a launcher or play dynamic here. The only other bit of thing he can do is he can flip this arm in to give him a cannon hand like so, which is neat, but I'll say I think that this figure will scratch a particular itch of like adult fans who really wanted a new like mainline Armada figure of Megatron. I think that anyone who like is a big Armada fan and wants like that figure again will be happier just getting the original Armada figure because of the play pattern and stuff that's in it. If you want a like high-end version of this design, there are third-party Megatrons that look really, really cool that I think if you're willing to spend $150, maybe $200 do a lot more than this guy does. But for me, I think he hits that sweet spot. I am pretty happy with it. That being said, I did get him on sale. Normally he's 55 bucks. I found him for 40. I think 40 is a sweet spot. It's a really nice leader toy, but nowadays I feel like the value, if I'm spending $55, that's like a video game. I could buy The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for a little more than $55. It's hard for me to justify this price when I'm comparing it to a product like that. Or if I'm comparing it to another Megatron. We saw them in bot mode. Here they are in alt mode. Here they are in bot mode. And you can see kind of the way things have changed. Obviously, the economy is different. The price of plastic and oil has been increasing. All that stuff is very true. But that all being said makes it like it's still like comparing this to a video game. I think it makes me personally really happy. But if you're looking to buy a toy for your kids or something, I don't know that I'd recommend this over getting like the new Super Mario Wonder game or something. It's just with the way things have been shrinking, it feels like we've gotten a little less. I love the way it looks, but I don't know that I'm feeling the leader price point value at this point. So yeah, that's the recommendation for Armada Megatron. I think there are certain fans that are going to really be happy with it. I am one of those fans, but I don't necessarily recommend it at retail price for everyone. See if you can find it on sale. That is it for today's video. Thanks for everyone for checking it out. Catch you all on the next one. Bye!